Hi, this is Dr. Weideman, and I'm going to go over the Welcome to MGF1106 online handout, and we'll explore the materials in D2L and also in My Math Lab. So here's the handout that's available to you in the Introductory Materials folder. And let's take a look at, if we look at the handout here, we're going to explore the course a little bit. So let me go over to our course, and I'm going to click on Content and Lessons. And if you see here on the left-hand toolbar side is a navigation panel that'll help you get through the course. And let's go ahead and take a look at, let's see, point out to you here, the syllabus is here. I'm going to talk about email instructor in just a minute. Let's go ahead and look at the introductory materials folder. And you'll notice in here, one thing, actually let me back up to the table of contents. If you notice here, you have Expand All, Collapse All. Expand All would open up every one of these folders. Collapse All collapses everything down, so you have just modules here to go through. So that's a nice feature to know about. And then let's take a look at, you want to make sure you look at the syllabus, which is available here, and it's also available in the Start Here folder. And I'm going to click on the Start Here module so all the material shows up here. If you notice this little toolbar here, it tells you how many of the items you've looked at, and you see a little check mark will tell you if you've already gone to that particular assignment or item in the module. So let's see, what do we have here? The syllabus. Okay, it's located here. It's also located over here on the main toolbar. You're going to want to make sure you read through that carefully. Here's the handout that we're going over right now. Here's the video. Meet your instructor. Takes you to my instructor page at the college. My Math Lab materials contains a handout on how to register for our course. If I click this open, then you'll see here's the registration guide, here's instructions, a little tip sheet. Here's 5 myths about distance learning. I urge you to read that. Make sure you understand what taking a distance or online course means. Proctor testing information. Remember, all students have to make an appointment for their proctor test starting this semester, and the links are available here for you to do that. Syllabus quiz, which is required. You're going to need to do that in order to get access to the discussions and also, just the discussions for this class. So let's go back to the main module over here, and let's go look at units of study. Okay, units of study contains the course materials, and it's organized by actually the first item in there is analysis of test answers. Let me just click on that. Right now there's nothing in there, but after you finish a chapter test in My Math Lab, I'll post an analysis of the questions in this folder. That might help you if you're having trouble with any of the concepts. Now let's take a look at the unit folders. We'll actually be doing 6 units in this course. 3 for the midterm and 3 for the final, and they're all organized in the same fashion. The beginning shows you what topics we're covering, and they correspond to the sections in My Math Lab or in your textbook. Reminds you how many homeworks you have. There's section notes and PowerPoint handouts that you might want to take a look at. Very helpful. The notes are in soft chalk, and they have some immediate feedback, some little quiz me or test me items that you can use to check your understanding. And again, remember those little check marks here will tell you if you've accessed that material. There's a handout and a PowerPoint for notes and PowerPoint for every section that we cover. And then in the discussions, and you're not going to see these until you get that 100% on the syllabus quiz, but the discussions will be here in chapter discussions. The first 2 that we have is a class intro and also a student information survey for the first unit. And if you click on the class introduction, you'll see the instructions here. Introduce yourself to the class, answer these questions. You must make a posting before you'll see the postings of other students. And then let's go back for a minute. Notice the breadcrumbs up top here help you to navigate. The student information survey is a 7-question, actually yours is just, 7 questions. Just a little information that just comes to me about you, just to make sure you understand the format of the course. And also if you have any concerns or things you want to tell me, here's a chance for you to talk directly just to me. And this will count as one of your discussion topics. So I urge you to complete that for me, please. Okay, and let's go back to Unit 1 again. And the last thing in every folder is going to be additional materials. Sometimes there's links to websites, sometimes there's links to Khan Academy videos, and just other information that is related to what we're studying in that particular unit. And those are optional, but you might find those helpful if you're having trouble with any topics. All right, let's go back to the main toolbar over here. Actually, I'm going to go to Table of Contents and close it up a little bit. And I want to talk about the email function here. There's email available up here from Communication tab, but we have a special link here to email your instructor, which I think will be easier for you. And if you're going to email the instructor, just click here, and then I think there's one more click, and email, and then it takes you directly to the email option, and you can type in here. This shows my name because it's my account, but you would put your name in there, but it would come just to me, and you can talk to me, send me an email about something. I think it's a little bit easier than using the email tool over here under communication, because you have to find my name and so forth. So you might want to take advantage of this option. Again, let's go back and see where that is. It's on the table of contents right here, email instructor. I also want to mention my courses tutorials. If you haven't used D2L, you might want to take a look at these tutorials. They go through all the different options and features of the program, and they might be very helpful for you as you get organized in our course. Okay, let's go back up to the top toolbar, calendar. And calendar shows important dates here. This class begins on the 18th. I didn't talk about the weekly chats. We're going to do that in a minute. But due dates are always going to show up on the calendar. So if you're ever not sure about what's available, what's due, click on calendar function. Okay, and we're going to go back up to the toolbar, to content. And notice you can get to discussions from here. You can get to quizzes from here. You can get to the Dropboxes. Excuse me, we're not going to be using Dropbox. We're not going to be using ePortfolio, but there's another toolbar that you can work with. And then on communication, again, you can see the class list. You can get to discussions again, email, news, etc. And let's go see what else. Okay, oh, you also wanted to show you under reports. You can get to your grades here. Okay, so as grades start to be posted in the grade book, you'll see all the different assignments here and the grades. I'll move grades over for the homework. These grades will come right from the assignment in my math lab, in D2L rather. These are my math lab tests. I'll move those over. But that's what where you get to see your grades. Okay, let me just go back to the handout for a minute that we're working on right here. And this has got the same information that I just went over. It's really critical that you get set up in my math lab as soon as possible. So I want to make sure that you understand you have to buy an access code, get registered in the course. I'm going to go through the My Math Lab course in just a minute, but it's really critical. Here's the course ID to register. You have to buy the My Math Lab Access Kit. If you look at the registration guide in D2L, let me go back to D2L again, and let's go to the main page here. In the Start Here materials, remember there's a folder on My Math Lab information. Oops. And the registration guide and the instructions will show you how to get registered, but you need to get registered. You can do it for 2 weeks at no charge, but at the end of the 2-week period, you're going to have to buy the registration guide. I'm sorry, the access kit. One other thing I wanted to mention is weekly chat sessions. Every week I'm going to hold a chat session for this class on Mondays at 1:30 in the afternoon. And you go to the weekly chat session folder. There'll be a link to the chat right here. You click on it, it'll take you to the website. And then I'll always post the materials that we're going to go over during the chat. So you might want to print those out ahead of time and use those as a study guide. If you're not able to make the chat, you can use the same link to watch the recording of the chat. Okay, let's go back to our little handout here. So now let's go over to My Math Lab, and I don't think I logged in, so let me go ahead and log into My Math Lab and show you what your class looks like. So in your My Math Lab class, when you first go into the class, you notice on the left-hand side, again, there's a toolbar. Some of the things that you're seeing on my toolbar you won't see on your toolbar because I'm the instructor, but you'll see over here chapter contents, Okay, if you click one of those, and when you start in the course, usually you'll start on the home page of it, but let's click on the chapter contents. The chapters that we cover are shown here. So for instance, the first section we cover is 1.1, and if you click here on the multimedia ebook, it will take you to an electronic copy of the textbook. So if you want to review the information for that particular section, that's the way that you get to it. Once you're in the ebook, you can navigate around however you like. You don't have to go back to the main toolbar to get a further section. And there's navigation tools up here. There's a search option if you want to look up a particular word you're having trouble with. Some of these have little built-in activities. You try it. Sometimes there's videos embedded in the ebook. So the ebook is a really, really nice feature. Okay, let's go back over here and let's take a look at your homework. Okay, and if you notice the due dates are shown over here. If there's a flag, that's telling you there's a prerequisite. And for instance, for your first chapter homework, you need to finish up this Introduction to My Math Lab with 100% in order to unlock these particular assignments. The due dates are shown here. And let me show everything actually. Up here we can show it all. So let's go back to the beginning, very top. Okay, so for instance, here's the chapter 1 test. And if you look here, it's telling you have to get 60% on those 3 homeworks in order to have access to the test. And that's true for every chapter test. The homeworks are linked into the test. And the problems, let's just take a look at one of the one in the handout I showed you was in chapter 2.3. I wanted to show you the learning aids that are available. So if I click on one of the problems in here, okay, all the problems will have some learning aids over here. This one has a help me solve it, view an example, go to the page in the textbook, ask my instructor. So depending on the problem, this one actually has a video. Some of them have extra learning aids, but there's a lot of learning aids to help you if you're having trouble with how to solve that particular problem. If you do a help me solve it, when you finish and come back, the numbers in the problem will have changed. It's not going to be the same exact, it'll be the same type of problem, but with different numbers. Okay, one other thing to mention on your tests, let me go back out to the main toolbar for the tests here. The tests themselves, remember you get several chances. I'm not going to tell you how many. You can look that up yourself. But when you redo a test, they're based on pools, so you may not get the same questions when you go back in. So make sure you look carefully and read the questions. Okay, let's go back out to your handout. So this is all the information in this little handout here. And at the very end, I just wanted to reiterate again, the midterm and final are proctored, and they're given at our 4 main college campuses at the St. Pete College. And you have to make an appointment. Here's a link to the test center where you make the appointment. If you live out of the area, you have to get a proctor approved in your area. And here's a link to that proctor approval form. I don't use ProctorU. And then one thing I would say is it's really critical to keep up with the weekly assignments. Things are always due on Mondays at 11, except week 1 I pushed out for a second week to give you a chance to get on track with the course. Here's the weekly syllabus, and it shows you week by week. For instance, in week 1 we're covering sections 1 and 2, so you want to be working on those. Again, I push this due date out a week to give you a chance to get familiar. So on September 1st you have 4 homeworks and 1 test, so you want to make sure you keep on track, and 2 discussions. Okay, and other thing I put out, I've sent out to the class is a little checklist to help you get started. Some students like this. Things to do to check off to see that you're right on track in terms of getting organized and set up in the class. So you have a copy of this checklist also to help you get started. So don't hesitate to send me an email. Please use the email again in the D2L course. Let's go back out to the D2L course. Oh, wrong tab. Got too many tabs open. Remember, email my instructor. If you have a question, email me and I will get back to you. It's mentioned in the syllabus again how quickly I'll respond to you, but use this email link to contact me. So let's have a great course and enjoy your new learning management system D2L. I think you'll find it's actually pretty intuitive.